Okay, let's talk about the iPad Pro M4. I just got one and I've been wanting to upgrade my previous iPad. I had a basic iPad, the base model iPad from 2018 for almost 6 years right now, and I wanted to upgrade for the Pro because my idea is that instead of using the iPad only for consuming, that's what I was doing with my previous iPad, mostly using it for YouTube, Netflix, also reading books. My idea is that with the iPad Pro I will be able to be more creative with it. I'm going to share with you my first thoughts about the iPad, what are the apps that I plan to use with the iPad, what I'm going to do for video editing or photo editing. My plan is also to use it to write more. Yeah, let's go into it. So to write, what I'm going to use is an app called Obsidian. This is what I use in the Mac because I really like typing in Markdown, but I also like the flexibility that it gives, that you own your files. It's not like Notion that is in a server. What you do with Obsidian is that you have the notes in the cloud. In this case I use iCloud to share across devices, and also you can link notes to each other. It's very powerful. I use it for everything, to write scripts or to write mini essays or even to type a task list. And sometimes I default to Obsidian instead of the Apple Notes because it is more powerful than Apple Notes. Apple Notes is great to write a quick thing or a quick idea that you have while on the go, but if you plan to write more seriously, I think Obsidian is the best. The iPad app is great. It has every feature that you have in the Mac. You can customize how the notes look like. You can also have multiple notes open at the same time, one side to the other. And also, if you connect an external keyboard, you can type as fast as you would do on a laptop. As I said, I didn't get the Apple keyboard, but I use my Bluetooth keyboard to write with the iPad. And if I have to write something quick, I also use the keyboard from the iPad, the digital keyboard. The good part of having the external keyboard as well is that you have more screen because you don't have the keyboard using half of the screen, and then you can write focused on the note because by default all the apps on the iPad are full screen and you're going to focus only on one thing. I think this is one benefit from the iPad as well because you can focus on one specific task instead of multitasking that you would do on a laptop. Other apps that I want to use to create more with the iPad are either Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve. I still need to try those and see which one is better for video editing on the iPad. But I've always wanted to edit some video or at least to do some early rough cuts with the iPad. But with my previous iPad it was not even compatible. I was not able to download any of these apps because it was not powerful enough. And this is one of the first things that I'm going to get in this new iPad Pro because it has like an M4 chip and it's very powerful. So it's going to handle even 4K footage that my Mac sometimes struggles to work with, and I think it's going to be great for quick edits. My plan is to share a more detailed view on these apps later in different videos, so subscribe if you want to see those videos in the future. Another app that I'm going to install to create more in the iPad is the Lightroom app, something that I've always struggled with. I never have the time to sit down and edit photos because that's something that I enjoy, but maybe it's not something that I would spend the same time that I do, for example, editing a video. To me, the friction of going to the Mac and then start focusing on editing pictures is not something that I find time to do, and that's something that maybe with the iPad, if I'm able to edit my raw photos from my camera, I think it's going to be great because I can use any time without having to say like, now I'm going to go to the office, sit down, now it's the editing time. Instead I could have the pictures already in the iCloud drive or have it in the iCloud or have it in the iPad storage because these are not taking a lot of space, and use every slot of free time to edit these pictures. I did that with my latest pictures that I shot in my trip to Amsterdam with the family. I normally copy these pictures to a hard drive and forget about them because I don't have time to edit the raw pictures, and I have like the JPEGs that are good already. But also one thing that I'm getting from editing the photos in the iPad is that I can export them safely to the camera roll and have it in the iCloud storage of pictures, and that's great because Most of the pictures I have with my family and everything are in the iCloud because I do that with the iPhone. But being able to have the better pictures as well in iCloud, I think it's great to be able to find my memories later on, because if it's in a hard drive, it's going to be harder to find in the future. So, and yeah, my plan is that as soon as I finish editing the best pictures of a trip, I'm going to export files to iCloud and store it there. Of course, I'm not going to be only using the iPad for Create, so there's a bunch of apps that I always use in the iPad to consume content. It's either Netflix, because you have the ability to download while traveling, so you could have movies or TV shows that you want to see there in the iPad already downloaded. That's something that you cannot do with a MacBook. But also YouTube. I think YouTube is my most used app in the iPad and has been for a while. I don't want to be all day watching YouTube with the iPad, but also creating more instead of watching. But I have to say that the videos with the new iPad screen look amazing. That's been like a massive change from my previous iPad because the screen is much better. It's a bit larger, but also I can watch videos in 4K that previously was only 1080p. Quality, it's much better. You're going to see a lot of people comparing the new iPad Pro with the previous M2, but for myself it's been like from a 6-year-old iPad to this one. I think it's when you start to appreciate the incremental upgrades every year. Whenever you upgrade from a device that it's quite old, instead of getting the latest every year, that's going to be only a little bit better. I don't like to upgrade devices every year because you're going to get much more if you come from an older device. As I said, with my previous iPad I was reading a lot of books. I have a Kindle as well, but I find that the iPad is better. I mostly read non-fiction, so I highlight a lot of sentences while reading, and that's something that I've been enjoying doing with the iPad. With the new iPad Pro, it's going to be almost the same. Like, it's not that you need a lot of CPU power to read books, but one thing that I really enjoy with the new iPad is that it has the OLED screen. I normally read in the bed at night, and having the night mode with the OLED screen that's going to be pure black, mostly it's not going to be bothering my wife while reading, which I think it's great. And I think also for my eyes it's better because it's not as bright. I use even the minimum brightness with dark mode while reading in the bed. So that's something that it's nice to have because of this device already has it. But yeah, it's good. So that's what I plan to do, but I'm going to see if I'm able to create more. I'll keep you posted on that, but yeah, that's my intention, using the iPad Pro to create, to edit, to write more, and to use it as a laptop, even if it's not a laptop. But some of the use cases that we do with a laptop that now I can do in more places because I can bring the iPad in more places that I can bring the laptop. For example, while traveling, I think the iPad is great to do long flights because it's going to consume less battery than a laptop. You can also charge it with an external battery that you cannot do with a laptop. Not all the times you can plug the laptop to the plane, so last time that I traveled to Canada, it was like 2 hours of video editing and then the Mac shut down because of the battery. Going to travel again soon. I'm going to use the iPad to edit and see if I'm able to use it more in an 8-hour flight. But also it's smaller, and I think it's going to be much more portable than if I bring a laptop. But that's it for this video. Hope that you like it, and let me know in the comments what do you think about the new iPad. See you in the next one. Bye.